Dear cherished kid, pay attention closely. If you believe in God, say Amen. This isn't just another message. It's a sacred unveiling cloaked in gentleness and honesty. There's a change happening, not in the world around you, but deep within your soul. The burden you've silently borne, the hidden pressure surrounding your choices, your feelings, your future, it isn't yours to bear anymore. This is your moment of liberation. God says, "My child, I'm not asking you to solve everything. I'm inviting you to let me take what was never meant for you, the fears that were passed down, the doubts you inherited, the moments of sorrow you took the blame for. I saw it all. I stood by you when no one else did. And now I act not in judgment, but in healing. You're being drawn not to actions, but to awareness. You don't need a stronger faith. You need a softer surrender, the kind that murmurs, I'm ready even when you can't express why. Heaven doesn't require perfection. Heaven needs permission, and you are finally granting it. Archangel Michael communicates. You haven't missed your purpose. You haven't postponed your destiny. You aren't being penalized. You are being readied. Everything is being set up for success. You've persevered has brought you nearer, not to solutions, but to synchronization. You are no longer extending outward for affection. You are reaching inward to acquire what has always been moving towards you. There is no stress to be correct. You are not late. You are perfectly on schedule for a breakthrough you cannot foresee but can sense. That sensation, it's not apprehension. It's awakening. The quiver in your chest isn't terror. It's your spirit recollecting its power. God says the shackles restraining you were not just in your circumstances. They were in your self-perception. They were in how you saw your value. And I'm breaking that. Because who you believed you had to become was never my plan. You are not oversensitive. You are not moving too slowly. You are not lagging behind. You are mine, and that is sufficient. Let the tears flow. Let the quiet speak. Let this moment root you in the knowledge that you are deeply cherished, completely enveloped, and finally secure to cease struggling. Nothing is being taken from you. Everything authentic is being unveiled to you. Michael affirms, there is a tranquil revolution unfolding in your life, not with fanfare, not with applause, but with presence. You will not need to justify your peace. It will speak for itself. Speak first, then act. You're not rebuilding solo. Heaven is collaborating with your healing. You're not pushing for the future. You're learning to trust the course. And in that flow, bonds are shattering. So breathe, accept, and recall. You're already freer than yesterday. You're already more whole than they claimed you could be. And you're already becoming all that God ever envisioned for you. Let it unfold. The restraints you bore weren't always apparent. They were silent, like thoughts unspoken, fears adopted from others, expectations swathed in love but spiked with control. These were not your burdens, yet you wore them as armor. Type 222 to claim it. Not because you were weak, but because you didn't know it was permissible to lay them down. But today, God says, you don't need to bear what I never asked you to carry. You weren't designed to prove your worth. You were born with it. Your breath is proof. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's the resonance of heaven. That pain in your chest, that's the echo of who you truly are beckoning you back. Not to fix, not to grind, but to feel, to receive. God continues, my child, I have not forgotten a single instant. The past is not erased from my memory. The people you laid to rest, the events that transpired within hidden rooms. The nights you pleaded not for a miracle, but simply for repose. I was present, and I am here now. Not as a juror, but as a healer, not to demand more from you, but to provide more to you. This chapter of your life isn't about transforming into someone different. It's about recalling who you were before the world instilled fear in your own brightness. You aren't lagging, you aren't fractured, you are blossoming. Archangel Michael says, the liberation process is already in motion. You won't always sense it at the moment, but you will recognize it in hindsight. Your heart is being reconfigured for gentleness. Your mind is being reshaped for honesty. Your soul is recalling how to stand firm and feel secure. The shackles aren't falling off with commotion. They are disintegrating in tranquility. There is no earthquake, only a slow release. Only the silent liberation that comes when you stop justifying and start living. When you stop striving and start accepting. God whispers, every moment you felt unseen, I saw you. And I didn't just observe your suffering. I saw your resilience, your quiet compassion, your determination to keep going when everything within urged you to withdraw. Altars in heaven. And now I am answering it. This is your season of gentleness, not weakness. This is your time of resting, not retreating. You are being strengthened in ways that don't seem like fire. They look like forgiveness. They look like long walks, deep breaths, letting go of the story that you need to be more to matter. Michael affirms the blessing isn't coming, it's already here. In how you listen differently, speak kinder to yourself, say no without guilt and yes without fear. You don't need another sign. You are the sign, your peace is proof. Your presence is prophecy. God says this is not just a message. It is movement. You have left the season of surviving. Now you learn to live fully, deeply, freely. So walk forward not to be seen, but to see clearly. Not to arrive, but to align. Not to impress, but to rest. Because freedom doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. And today it says, welcome back. This isn't about starting over. It's about starting true. There is no pressure from heaven to reintroduce yourself. You are not required to rebuild a version of you that others understood. You're invited to stay authentic and visible, not your polished version, not your filtered image, but the true you. Authenticity is where your freedom thrives. God says, "My child, I never wanted you to change to feel valued. I created you in my likeness, not for a show, but for presence. I didn't hide your kindness. I placed it there as evidence that even in a world that forgets kindness, you remembered me. That's what I appreciate. You're not lagging behind, you're deeper now. Type God is good if you love God. You're not late, you're more multidimensional. You are not being penalized. You are being shielded from anything unsuitable for this next phase. What didn't endure wasn't meant to restrict you. It left to lighten your load so you could move differently, freer, fuller, more in sync. Archangel Michael says, you're not feeble for resting, you're prudent, you're not lost. You're repositioning yourself to your soul. The distractions are diminishing, the understanding is growing. You're no longer striving to fit in where you don't belong. You're learning to occupy the space you've always deserved. This season isn't based on solutions. It's centered on alignment. It's not demanding work. It's asking for energy that flows naturally. True nature. You no longer strive for false harmony. You are embodying it. You no longer plead for acceptance. You are becoming a familiar place. God speaks. I am walking alongside you. Not leading ahead, not trailing behind, but next to. Every moment of calm, I am present. Every moment of doubt, I whisper truth. You are not anticipating my presence. You are awakening to the fact that it never abandoned. You've let go of those who didn't see you. You've let go of habits that kept you limited. You've stopped nourishing what no longer thrives. And now you are free. Not because the world changed, but because you did, not because the path became easier, but because your spirit ceased to struggle. Michael asserts, there is nothing to prove. The divine already knows who you are. And the moment you understand that, the shackles that kept you from resting will finally dissolve. Let them go, let them be light. Let them be enough. You are not on trial, you are not being tested. You are being transformed, not for display, but for nourishment, for peace, for sacred joy. This is the beauty that doesn't shout. This is the grace that doesn't chase. This is the authentic you reappearing. Welcome home. There are moments in life when the transformation occurs subtly. Quietly, you don't even notice crossing a threshold until peace finds you seated still. This is one of those moments. Not dramatic, not declared, but unfolding softly like morning sun through a curtain. You aren't being forced. You're being pulled. Heaven doesn't hurry. And God, in all grace, moves with rhythms that calm your mind, regulate your soul, and remind you that you are safe. God says, my dear one, your healing isn't loud. It's not for applause, it's for you. You have nothing to prove. You don't need to turn every lesson into a show. Some growth is meant to stay sacred. Some liberation happens behind closed doors, just you and I, and that's holy. You've been learning to listen differently. To pause mid-thought and ask yourself, does this feel like truth or necessity? That self-check isn't doubt. It's discernment waking up. Type 1111 if you love God, Jesus. You've stopped automatically saying yes to everything. You've stopped calling exhaustion strength. And that change alone is proof of a deeper work. You are becoming rooted in reality that's not built on busyness but on balance. Archangel Michael declares you are not walking backwards. You are being led inward. This is the real journey, the one where you are no longer performing healing but living it. Your aura is shifting, your presence feels more rooted. And the appropriate souls will sense this evolution and react not with demands but with respect. The restraints binding you were never iron. They were assumptions, false roles you adopted, expectations that hinted you were only worthy if you satisfied, produced, performed. And now those hints are losing their hold, not because you fought, but because you evolved beyond them. God says, I didn't give you breath so you could bear others' burdens at the expense of your own peace. You are permitted to rest. You are allowed to say, this is too heavy for me. I will never reproach you for setting something down. I will applaud you for trusting enough to let go. This isn't rebellion. This is return. You are returning home to a version of yourself that always existed but was concealed under layers of shoulds and oughts and musts. And now you are choosing truth, not because it's noisy but because it fits, not because it's fashionable but because it matches. Michael adds, you don't need to persuade anyone of your freedom. You don't need to explain your boundaries. The fruit of your healing will shout louder than any defense. You are not obliged to shrink for anyone's comfort. Find peace again. So let the quiet seem sacred. Let tranquility become your refuge. Let gentle moments carry weight. You aren't being idle. You're learning a rhythm. You aren't remote. You're discriminating. You aren't detached. You're aligned. God says, every moment you opt for peace over pressure, you create space for my presence to flow more freely in your life. Don't chase. Don't struggle. Just trust. And I will achieve more with your calmness than you ever did with your worries. This is your freedom hymn. It doesn't boom, it breathes, it blesses, it stays. And now it's yours. You aren't just enduring life. You're starting to soften into it. There's no hurry here, no tasks to finish. The healing you're experiencing now is not about solutions. It's about ambience. You are creating a space around. You that carries peace like a scent. And people who enter that space sense it, even if they can't put it into words. God says, I'm not asking you to correct everything. I'm showing you that your presence is enough. The more you reconnect with yourself, the more my spirit flows through you. You don't need to talk louder to be understood. You need only to speak softly. Type 777 if you believe in God, Jesus, from your core. This journey you're on isn't about going distant. It's about going deep. And with every step inward, you're discarding illusions. Illusions that your worth is linked to achievements, that your value is assessed by production. That love must be earned through tirelessness. Those beliefs were shackles, and now they no longer fit. Archangel Michael affirms this gentleness you're embracing. It is not frailty, it is insight. The kind that stays calm when things don't work out as expected. The kind that doesn't pursue those who don't choose you. The kind that doesn't argue over every misconception. Because now your tranquility matters more than proving a point. You're permitted to have leisurely days. You're permitted to alter your views. You're permitted to abandon objectives that no longer resonate with your spirit. This isn't failure. This is evolution. This is becoming complete. God says, release the guilt. I am not disheartened by you. I am thrilled by your bravery. You are opting for healing in a world that applauds labor. You are opting for presence in a society of stress. You are not late. You are precisely where I wish to connect with you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your calmness. The people meant for you will admire your lucidity, not doubt it. You don't need to keep battling old conflicts. You've outgrown the battlefield. You're not here to prove your worth. You're here to protect your soul. Michael declares the chain of self-doubt has been broken. The lie that you are too much or not enough is being demolished. From now on, your presence will lead the way as peace. Your name will carry grace. Your voice will carry kindness. And that will be your legacy. So breathe. Let your back relax. Let your shoulders lower. Let your heart be cradled by something larger than your concerns. You are not burdened with the world anymore. You are being born. This is your life. Not a task to perfect, but a place to experience. Not a contest to win, but a rhythm to rejoin. And you are finally recalling the sound of your spirit's song. Welcome to a life that values your gentleness. Welcome to a freedom that doesn't demand sacrifice. Welcome to yourself at last. You're not here to gain peace. You are here to receive it. The kind of peace that doesn't ask for your exertion. The kind that whispers in silence that it is okay to stop pushing, okay to let go, okay to simply exist and still be deeply cherished. Fight daily battles. You aren't designed to spend your life proving your value to anyone, not even yourself. God says, my child, let me bear what you can't. Stop rehashing past pains. Stop judging your future by past mistakes. I am not constructing your blessings on damaged terrain. I am planting you in new soil. Soil made from surrender, trust, and peace. This phase of your life is about receiving without guilt. Let that sink into your spirit. You're allowed to accept love without proof. You're allowed to rest without shame. You're allowed to receive favor without justification. The old habits may resist this truth, but your soul recalls this was always your birthright. Archangel Michael says, "You are shielded in ways you don't fully grasp. Even now, heaven encircles your choices. The path you're on is not strange to us. We've cleared the way ahead for you. Your task is simply to trust your steps, to trust your spirit, to trust that what's meant for you won't pass. You aren't fractured. You are blossoming gradually, softly, silently. Some of your deepest growth happened unnoticed, and that's okay. You didn't do it for approval. You did it because your soul yearned for it. Tranquility, and tranquility is its own reward. God states, "I am not in the din, I am in the subtle shifts, the nights you opted for kindness. The days you resisted old ways, the moments you wept in submission. I was there, not seeking more, but providing more of me. Now that presence molds your journey. Let this serve as your approval to halt conflicts on yours. Let this be your time to walk freely, gently, honestly. You don't have to have the solutions. You merely need to stay open to the emergence." Michael verifies, "There is nothing flawed about you. You are not tardy. You are not oversensitive. You are not delayed. You are precisely the kind of soul this world requires at present. One that heals through presence, not dominance. Through compassion, not turmoil. Through love, not dread. The restraints that once bound your essence are no longer secured. They are loosening, not because you tugged harder, but because you ceased holding them. You are sufficient. You are secure. You are exactly where healing commences and persists. Let this life tenderize you. Let this affection encase you. Let this truth guide you. You are already liberated. You are starting to comprehend that divine. Timing isn't delay, it's design. Everything you thought was late is arriving at its right moment. The people who departed made way for clarity. The opportunities that fell apart paved the way for alignment. The plans that changed molded you into someone who can now receive without shrinking back. God says, "My child, I haven't withheld anything from you. I've only waited until you were ready to accept it fearlessly. You're not being punished. You're being prepared." And the preparation wasn't about doing more, it was about trusting more. Trusting me, trusting yourself, trusting the discernment within you, not as a burden but as a blessing. Your softness is sacred. Your pause is purposeful. Your quiet isn't emptiness, it's capacity. You are not empty, you are becoming spacious. And the more you surrender the timeline, the more you align with what cannot be hurried. Soul truth. Archangel Michael affirms, "You've been walking through transition with grace that most rarely see. The strength you've shown in silence is recorded in heaven, not for rewards, but for remembrance. The divine knows your name, not as someone to fix, but someone who followed the inner voice, even when it was quiet, even when it was lonely. You are not called to be fixed. You are called to follow, carry everything. You are called to move. Move through what shifts. Move through what shuts down. Move through what reappears. And in that movement, you stop clinging so tightly to who you used to be and open softly to who you're becoming. God says, you are not missing anything. What's intended for you has been redirected, never discarded. And I will always bring it back improved, gentler, clearer. Because I know your heart. I see your intentions. I know the prayers you prayed with no words, just tears. I was there. I am still here. Let yourself soften in this truth. Let your hands release their grasp. Let your spirit rest in the knowledge that what's departing is only making space. Michael says, this is not a diversion. This is a divine rerouting. And where it leads will be beyond what you planned because it will be exactly what you need. So take a breath. Take another. Let your healing be slow. Let your life be full, not of items, but of significance. You are already everything you were hoping to become. And the chains, they've already dropped. You are free and moving forward, fully seen, fully loved, fully supported. If you believe in God, say Amen or 444 or 555 or 11. Subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching this God message. May God Jesus will grant